Hello, my beautiful sisters in ministry out there. It is your coach, Rev Jocelyn, and I'm so excited to be here with you today for another Sister Start Your Ministry Hour. This hour is committed to helping you to start, grow, and sustain a transformative ministry, whether that is a kingdom business, whether it's a ministry where God is calling you to travel across the country, teaching, speaking, writing books, deliverance ministry, whatever that is, this hour is designed to prepare you. And we are teaching out of my book, Sister Start Your Ministry. So if you haven't gotten a copy yet, you want to join the book club, because this is really what this is, a weekly book club where we're teaching principles from this book. And you can grab your copy at sisterstartyourministry.com, along with a free ministry launch starter kit. Now, today we are talking about building your kingdom business. All right, not kingdom business, excuse me, that too, but kingdom mission statement. That is what we're focusing on today. And so definitely get your pen ready, get ready to take some notes, and we're diving right in. But if you are watching this live, you already know I want to know who is here. So please, if you would, in the comments, just let us know your name and what city you are watching from live so I can give you a shout out and we can connect as we are teaching these principles. Now, this is something that I'll be teaching out of the ministry development cycle from my book. We've covered in several episodes the discernment process. We also talk about the process of equipping and preparing yourself for ministry. We talked about that last week. Now we are turning a corner and we're getting into the planning stage of developing your ministry. And that, my sisters, is focusing on first our mission, why we even exist. And as I was preparing to teach on this lesson, I had a story that came to mind. Diana from Orlando, Florida. Diana, I'm in Florida right now. I'm actually going to be driving to Orlando this week. So great to see you here. I've seen you tune in on some other episodes. Anyone else who's watching live, you let me know who you are here so I can give you a shout out. But as I was preparing for this, I was thinking about a time when I was in Chicago during the Christmas season. Now, that's where I'm from. So it is not like it is in Florida where I'm out here in sandals. No, it is cold in Chi-Town in December. And about 10 years ago, I remember, welcome Tasha from Houston. 10 years ago, I remember going to a Christmas party event for a company that I used to work for. And every year for this Christmas party, they always had this event at this restaurant. I think it was called Paletto's or something like that. Anyway, so they told me that this event was taking place at this time. I was being honored. I was very excited. So I had to show up for this. And it is a blizzard the night of the Christmas party. I'm like, okay, just leave early. Make sure, you give yourself plenty of time. So I'm driving in my little Toyota Corolla. I love my little Corolla, by the way. And so I'm driving in that Corolla, trying to just edge through in this blizzard. The windshield wipers are going. And I'm just like, okay, Lord Jesus, get me to this Christmas party. And finally, after driving for an hour and 15 minutes, I pull up into the parking lot. And guess what I see? No one. No one is there. I'm like, what in the world? So I get out the car. The door was open, but it was like an empty banquet hall with this cleaning guy there. And he's like, what are you talking about? There's no Christmas party here. I'm like, no, it's always here. And so I finally had to go through my phone and call people, found out this is the year they decided to change locations. And I'm now 45 minutes away without all the traffic and snow from the new location. So fast forward, I do get there and, get the award and everything. I'm sweating and flustered and all stuff. But why did I tell you this story to begin with? And welcome, Vanessa, my girl, and Danana, Durdette. Welcome. So why did I tell you the story to begin with? Well, one thing I failed to do, and you can put this in the comments, I failed to ask for direction. I didn't have clarity of where I was going as it relates to this event. And having direction as it relates to where you are going in life, in any area, particularly when it comes to your ministry, is vital. Because if you don't have direction, if you don't have clarity on where you're trying to go, you can find yourself wandering and at a place that you didn't even end up or intend to go. And this is why it's vitally important for you to have a clear mission statement, because your mission statement serves as your direction for where you are trying to go. Consider that your North Star. Consider that the place where you're like, yes, when we get here, this is where we're trying to be in this season, to make a difference on someone's life, to change communities, to make my imprint, to leave a legacy. Your mission statement is your direction, and you want to have that nailed down. Welcome, Karina, Chicago, Chi-Town. So glad to have you. Okay, so we're talking about your kingdom mission statement. Now, in previous episodes, we talked about why you're doing this and why this is even something that you desire to birth. And if you have a clear why, that's leading into the mission statement that you're creating. All right, so here's a couple questions that I am going to pose for you as we're diving into the development of this mission statement. First question is, what is the core purpose of my ministry or business? So if someone were to come up to you, and this is for anyone who's watching live, I want you to think about this, Karina, Vanessa, Tasha, anyone who's watching. If someone were to come up to you and say, what is the core purpose of your ministry? What would you say? And you can go ahead and put this in the chat if you know it. What is the reason why you exist? For example, one area that I am extremely passionate about is helping domestic violence survivors. I'm a survivor myself. And so maybe for some of you, you're passionate about something like that, or human trafficking. And so for your mission statement, part of this mission statement is to, for example, help domestic violence survivors to reclaim their voice and stand on their story or experience healing, whatever that is. Okay, so what is the core purpose of your ministry? And let me know. Again, I want to know, for those who are watching live, if there's something that you have in mind, because there has to be a fundamental reason why you have started this and a goal you have in mind for the people that you serve. Which brings me to the next point. Now, this is crucial. You have to know who your target audience is, or your community, who you are hoping to serve. Okay, great. Tasha says to help girls to heal, grow, and develop their God-given identity. I love that. Anyone else want to share? Because I want to bring you up. But she has an understanding that she's trying to target girls. And Tasha, I would love to know, are you looking to target girls of a certain age? Is it teenage girls? Is it young adults? How do you define girls? And okay, what community are they a part of? Is it girls who live in your local area, in your local city? Is it girls who are in foster care? So as we get more specific, it helps us to be able to speak to those who we're trying to reach. Vanessa. Okay, so she has to help women return back to their first love of Jesus Christ. Hey, I'm trying to narrow my statement down, but not sure how yet. I have so many ideas and ways I want to help. Right. That's the problem. We're bursting from the seams trying to help. Okay, well, hopefully we can kind of narrow this down, but that's an awesome start. As we think about this, when we think about those who are our assignment, ladies, we kind of talked about this in a previous episode, but some of you might have missed this. When we think about how God is calling us out to be a light in the world, but our assignment is not for everybody in the world, right? There are certain people who we are uniquely equipped to serve. And there's certain people who we are able to touch in our lifetime who are particularly our assignment. So as we think about, like, I was using Tasha as a great example. Tasha knows she wants to help girls, but let's break this down a little bit further to see who exactly are we serving. Again, I mentioned, is it a certain community? Are they a certain age? Are they a certain ethnicity? Are they girls who go to church already? Do they not go to church? Do they have a shared uh, experience that they've gone through? I mentioned foster care, but maybe it could be something that they're adopted. Maybe they participate in a certain program. Let's kind of think about the layers of this. Are they a part of a certain socioeconomic status? We don't have to have it all figured out, but here's the key. The more that we have in mind the image of the people or a person, because I like to actually have a person in mind that we're trying to serve, the better we can be at helping them. Does that make sense, ladies, that you're watching? Okay. Because we have to have this individual in mind to the point where we know, okay, this is the problems that they struggle with. This is their desires. So the name of my person, her name is Janice. I have Janice in mind. And when I am thinking about how I want to help Janice to start her ministry, to do what I'm doing with you all, I'm like, okay, what is Janice struggling with? What is her deepest desires? Okay, what are the things that, if she had these resources in mind, it could really help her take off. All right, so my person's Janice. Who is your person? Who you're thinking about? Oh, okay, great. We got some good stuff in the chat. So Kay says global missions. All right. Okay, I'm driving Africa. Okay, all right. All right, Tasha. Girls who've been abused sexually, physically, emotionally. Wow. That is impactful work. Yes. And so Tasha says she goes into juvenile, group homes, hospitals, and schools. Okay, yes. So she's helping individuals, girls who've experienced certain forms of trauma, particularly sexual abuse. Powerful work. Okay, so as we are going through this, for using Tasha as an example, she helps girls who've been sexually, physically, or emotionally abused. So that's her target audience, and that's the situation that they have. Now we're thinking about what we do. How do we help them to achieve? Like, is it to achieve healing, to experience freedom? Like, what is it? And this is for everybody. So once you have, like, okay, we exist to help those who've experienced sexual trauma in this example, to in this, you say the target market. So in this case, it was girls, to experience what? How do we help them? All right, like, what's the end goal? What's the transformation for these girls who we are helping? All right, that's the question. We have change of heart. Change of heart. What is your name, sister? And so she says, goal is to help the faith community to educate, equip, empower, and recognize, respond, and refer individuals who are survivors of sexual assault and human trafficking to find freedom in Christ. Amen. Love it. Change of heart. That is amazing. And so we have a lot of us here who are very passionate about helping survivors of sexual abuse, which is so needed. Okay. And then in the mission statement, in addition to saying, okay, what is your purpose? What's your core purpose? To help those who've experienced sexual violence. Who are you serving? Okay, young girls or teens or foster care. Okay, to experience what? Like, to have what type of transformation? What type of breakthrough? And then we talk about the services. Okay, what services? How do you serve them? What activities, resources, products, or services do you provide that makes a difference in their lives to help with the transformation to occur? I want you all to think about that. When someone comes in contact with your organization or your book, because even a book has a mission statement, or they hear you speak and you go out and you lecture and you teach, whatever it is, what is the transformation that you want them to experience as a result of working with you? That's the question. Diana, that's you. That's right, Diana. Thank you. I couldn't put two and two together. You did introduce yourself earlier. All right. So, Diana, thank you. I'm just getting, but I've been leaning towards marriage, especially for young couples. Okay. Awesome. 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 Okay. So, as we are narrowing down this mission statement, at the end of the day, ladies, we want to be able to not only write the mission statement, but we want to live the mission statement. How many of us have had experiences before, maybe at an organization or a church, where they had a mission statement and no one at the office really even fully understands the mission? Like, it's written down somewhere at the church or the organization, but it's collecting dust. No, not for us. Not for us as women of intention. No, we are driven by this mission statement. And your mission statement is something that you do want to take time to write down and figure out your focus, and figure out and have clarity about the impact, the transformation that you're trying to make, because that can help you to be able to distinguish the difference between something nice to do potentially and but it's a distraction, because there's good things that you can do that could be a distraction, and you don't want to go off mission. So your mission statement, keeping that before you, helps you to identify distractions versus what you want to be giving your attention to, because that keeps you centered. It is a possibility, ladies, as you are growing and stepping into your ministry, that people will come to you and approach you about partnerships and opportunities. But not every opportunity and not every partnership is something that you want to say yes to, because they might not be in alignment with the direction you're trying to go. Similarly speaking, when you're fundraising, sometimes we might have a nonprofit and we're like, oh, this is a great opportunity for me to get grant money. So we try to, in some cases, make our program work within the grant guidelines just to get the funds, but it could cause you to mission drift, because what they're asking for is not in line with why you exist anyway. This is why you want to be clear on, we exist for this reason. We serve these individuals, and this is the impact that God has called me to make. This is the assignment that God has given me. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't eventually evolve, but at least when you're starting off, you want to be clear why you exist. So anyone else who's joining in, I know we got Diana here, we got Tasha, we got Kay here, we got Vanessa, we got Danana. Welcome everyone who's here. Anyone else who's here watching live, please let me know, who are you? Who are you? What city you're driving in, or I said driving in, streaming in from. And if you are clear about your mission statement, I want to know what that is. Please share it with us. Now, as we transition, I do want to take a moment to see, are there any questions that you have? If you have a question, you could go ahead and put it in the chat. Now, I do see a couple individuals who are here live who said that you've really been struggling to narrow down like what your focus is and who to serve. You have all these ideas. I'm sure she's not alone. She was just brave enough to say what she has been struggling with. But as you are considering what to give your attention to, I would love to give you a little bit of advice. So first, I want you to think about, are there some people in your direct circle or in your life who you feel like you are best equipped to help the most? From a gifting standpoint, from a standpoint of the resources that you have, and in those individuals who you feel like you most are best equipped to help, is it in alignment with the passions that you have? Because if you are equipped to help them, and you're also extremely passionate about helping those individuals, that's going to give you the fuel you'll need to keep going when things get tough. Because sometimes, y'all, it gets rough out here in these ministry streets, if anybody knows what I mean. And so, having yourself in a position where, hey, I have the gifts, I have the resources, I'm passionate, that can help you to narrow down who you are going to serve. Now, Diana, yes, you said I volunteer years at a shelter and partner with existing agencies. I get called when they have individuals who are identified as wanting to explore faith-based aspects since the agency does not. That's amazing. So I hear evangelism, Diana, as one of the things that you are focusing on, and that is needed, 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 needed. So again, introduce yourself. If you are watching live, ask me any questions that you have. But one of the things, in addition, that I would love to share is determining who you're going to serve, and having this individual in mind is going to help you be more equipped to design products and services or programs for them. Now, this is actually a sneak peek to what we're going to be talking about next week as it relates to developing your services, your programs, your products for people. But you won't be ready for this step if you don't take time to figure out your core audience. So again, some of the things I talked about earlier, what's the age? What is like maybe the beliefs of that person? Are they like, what's the family dynamics? What community are they from? Think about, are they educated? Have they gone to school? Thinking about like all the aspects of like who they are, and having an individual in mind, having at least one in mind that you're designing this program for. That helps you to be able to serve people better. All right, Tasha. Tasha says the end goal is to see them healed and free from the shackles of abuse. Come on, Tasha. I create a safe place to have these discussions with tools and awareness, such as workshops, events, and writing opportunities. That's excellent. That's excellent. So as we think through what we're working on, ladies, I want you to take those questions that I have asked earlier to develop your mission statement for your organization. I'm going to do a recap. I see we have Tasha. She's looking at ages 11 to 24. Now, Tasha, this is amazing. Thinking about though, that gap is a big gap from a developmental stage. So that means that's like 11-year-old, 11 to like 13-year-old versus like a 21 to 24-year-old. You will show up for them differently, and the programs and services that you're going to offer might look a little bit different. And again, we'll be talking about that during next week's episode. But that's awesome that you have some youth and young adults that you desire to serve. Okay, so let's recap here, ladies, and then I'm going to take any questions you have. So for developing your mission statement, you want to be able to answer what is the core purpose of your ministry. That's question number one. Then you want to be able to answer, who is my target audience or community that I desire to serve? And ladies, prior to next week, this is your homework. Think about this on a deeper level. Who are the people? Have a person in mind, because that's going to help you to be able to better design the products and services that you offer. I also want you to be able to articulate, why does this matter? And what positive change do I hope to create? I had almost skipped this one. I'm going to bring this back up one more time. Why does it matter? You want to be able to answer this because sometimes you're passionate about this, but other people don't understand your passion or why it matters. And then what positive change do you hope to create? This is the results that people get by working with you. This is key, ladies, when it comes to getting your program funded. You don't want to just say why it matters. You do need to say that, but that's not where you stop. In addition to saying why it matters, you want to be able to articulate that this is a transformation that girls or women or whoever you're called to serve, they get as a result of working with my program. because that is how you are able to gather donors and get grants and have people want to work with you because they know that you are a good steward over the resources that they give you. So again, what positive change will someone get by working with you? And then by what means do you go about serving them? What are the activities? What are the resources? What are the products? What are the services that you provide that brings about the transformation? These are key elements for developing your mission statement. Okay, so Tasha, I see you tailored to the age groups. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And she says she's passionate about helping individuals in all forms of abuse and is needed. That is huge. Okay, so ladies, as you are thinking about this, Tasha, for example, gave us some good work, good things to talk about, but many of you talked about what you're doing. Diana did, Vanessa did. So as you're thinking about your mission statement, here's the thing: write it down. Write down your mission statement, answering all of those questions that I put up on the screen. If you need to go back and look at the questions, do so. It's also, I'm teaching from chapter 5 out of my book, Sister Start Your Ministry. It's a guide to help you with developing your mission statement. So write down your mission statement and make it concise, answering those questions. So if someone comes up to you and you meet them at a networking event and they say, hey, what does your organization do? Or what is your ministry about? You can be able to articulate it clearly, why your organization exists, the direction of your ministry, what you stand for, the impact that you make, and the services that you offer. Okay, so this is your homework, ladies. I know it might seem like it's like a task that you might be like, oh, I could skip over, but no, it is fundamental to the growth of your ministry. Okay, so that is it for today, ladies. If this was helpful for you, share this with a friend, share it with a sister who is doing work in ministry. I also want to give a couple announcements. First, if you have not already, mark your calendar. You have to mark your calendar for this because this is going to be amazing. This is our ministry launch virtual conference. It's virtual, meaning you can be in the comfort of your home for this event. But we are bringing women who built national and international ministries. We have a woman who's doing work globally for human trafficking. We have Dr. Michelle McKinney-Hammond, best-selling author of over 40 books, Christian books. She is going to be our headline speaker. We have the Queen of Funding who can help you to get funding for your ministry. We have women who have done just phenomenal work overseas and nationally. Here, ladies, coming to this event. So if you have not already, you want to get your tickets at ministrylaunchconference.com and save the date for January 23rd and 24th. Sisters, I promise you, this event is going to help you to position yourself to really scale your ministry in the new year. So once again, that's ministrylaunchconference.com. Now, I also want to invite any of you who are at a season where you're like, man, I know I'm called to ministry, but I feel stuck. It happens. Trust me, I felt stuck when I was first getting started. You ain't got to stay stuck though. You really don't. There's help. And so I want to invite you to join me for a Kingdom Breakthrough Call. I call it an accelerator call because it's designed to help you to get unstuck. If you feel stuck right now and you want to be able to set up your ministry so it's sustainable, so that we're able to help you to get finances in order for your ministry, we're able to help you to get the word out about your ministry. You're trying to figure out the structure. Is it a nonprofit? Is it an LLC? You have questions. Then this is the time to get the help you need. It's a free call where you and I sit down one-on-one and we talk things through. So visit revjocelyn.com/breakthrough-session to schedule a conversation. I really want to hear from you, and I want to make sure that you get the support that you need. So sisters, thank you so much for tuning in live. I love your energy. I love your feedback. You are doing such great work. And next week, we're going to be building upon what we learned today. So be sure to set your timer for 6:30 Central, because now that we are going to have our mission statement next week, we're going to be outlining your services, your program development, your products for the people who you are called to serve. Once again, if you haven't already, go ahead and get a copy of my book at sisterstartyourministry.com, because it really allows for you to take your time through the principles that I am teaching week after week. But once again, God bless you, sisters. Thank you so much for being here. Tasha, I'm so glad you enjoyed. And everyone who watches week after week, my girl Vanessa, it's always great to see you here. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you next week. God bless you, sisters. You take care.